Welcome back to Freak the Geek, where you give me the name of a movie, any movie, and I'll show you Alfred Hitchcock's greasy little fingerprints all over it. Well, let's see what you tried to freak me with this time. Here's a letter from Wendy. It says, "Dear Mr. Geek, how are you? I am fine. David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers exudes a sense of the absurd and the macabre that reminds me a lot of Hitchcock. Is that more than just a coincidence? Also, I see parallels between the movie camera and the medical examination instruments used in this film that seem to vindicate feminist theories of the male gaze. Can you talk about Dead Ringers on Freak the Geek? I hope to hear back soon. Have a nice day. Sincerely, your friend Wendy." Thanks for your letter, Wendy. And to answer your question, I agree that yes, Dead Ringers plays all kinds of games with the notion of the gaze, both male and female. But before I get into that, let's get caught up in what the movie is all about. In 1988, macabre mocker David Cronenberg followed up his smash hit The Fly with Dead Ringers, a slow burn film about twin brothers, both played by Jeremy Irons, who are successful gynecologists. As twins are wont to do, they share everything, in this case their patients, and not just in the clinic. In their little sex games, Elliot, the gregarious one, seizes the conquest, and then his shy, more reserved brother, Beverly, gets the sloppy seconds.
Bev, you've got to try the movie star. She's unbelievable. Don't worry, you'll be all right. Just do me.
Like a freight train colliding with the 747, the situation is as fascinating as it is implausible. In other words, ideal Hitchcock territory. What could go wrong? Actually, not what you'd expect. Halfway through the movie, the twins' lives devolve into drug addiction and mental illness, and then the bizarro gynecological instruments show up, unable to individuate one from the other. As an audience, even we have a hard time keeping up. The twins make a surreal attempt to separate once and for all, to disastrous results. Okay, so let's start ticking off the Hitchcockian influences. Hitchcock influence number 1. First of all, both Cronenberg and Hitch are masters of the macabre, and they both deal with a lot of the same material, like non-mainstream sexuality, body functions, the dark recesses of the human psyche, blah, blah, blah. Cronenberg has professed his admiration for Hitchcock's work, mentioning Rear Window as being particularly affecting. He said, "I can see now that Rear Window's constriction of space inspired a lot of my films, especially Cosmopolis." So that's the broad stroke influence, and you probably already guessed that. But we can get much more specific here. Let's start with the easy stuff, with Hitchcock influence number 2. In Hitchcock's world, ordinary objects take on an almost supernatural agency. From a simple cellar key to a cigarette lighter, his camera takes Anton Chekhov's rule to the extreme that if you've hung a pistol on the wall in Act 1, then in Act 2, it should be fired. In Dead Ringers, those MacGuffin-like medical instruments drill into our psyche, and we can hardly wait to see them put to good use.
We'll use these.
Now, here's the deal-clinching Hitchcock influence in Hitchcock influence number 3. And that's, of course, the cameo. Look, Hitch invented the director's cameo, that brief appearance that acts as a sort of combination Easter egg and signature touch. Every director who came after him, M. Night Shyamalan, got the idea from Hitch. And here's David Cronenberg's cameo appearance as an obstetrician in Dead Ringers.
Get a clinic, for God's sake. Get him the hell out of here!
And here's a reference to Hitchcock's British spy caper, The 39 Steps. Beverly and Claire are rehearsing the script to a film she's starring in. I think Cronenberg chose this snippet as a riff on his film's motif of conjoinment.
Just because some dumb cop handcuffed us together doesn't mean I have to like you.
Handcuffs? You don't get it, do you? Listen, Honeymud, we're on the run. And until we find the computer release code to this thing, we're going to get to know each other real well. I suggest we learn to like what we see.
I could stop right here because that's more than enough evidence to show that the Hitchcock geek has not been freaked. But oh, there's so much more. Come back for Freak the Geek Part 2, and if I don't watch it, there might even be a Part 3.